What is the number one question the Dallas Mavericks have to answer this upcoming season? We'll dive into that and more coming up next on the DLLS Mavs Podcast. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato. We, of course, are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys, covering your favorite team on the final day of the month of July. What are the biggest questions, the number one question the Dallas Mavericks have to answer this season? Plus, we'll dial up the Stein Line a little bit later on in our show as we discuss what we learned this month from your Dallas Mavericks. Appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also, I want you to become a diehard member here in the final day of the month of July with our $36 intro offer right now. Training camp, of course, underway in Oxnard, California for your Dallas Cowboys. Our best offer of the season with our training camp special. Just $36 right now a year to join us here at DLLS Sports. Go to alldlls.com to become a diehard member today. Get all the benefits. Again, our $36 training camp intro offer. Scan that QR code if you're watching us here, or if you're listening, make sure you go to alldlls.com. to Cato on this terrific Thursday. What's going on?
Doing pretty good. Last day of July, as you just noted to me right before we kicked off the show. I don't like that. It doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. Where'd July go? Come back to us, July. I wasn't done with you.
We had a hell of a month of July. We're gonna get to that a little bit later on in the show. But you know what that means, though, with the calendar turn from July to August, get that much closer to basketball, like real basketball.
Yeah, maybe that's why I wanted July to stick around.
It's because you wanted to wait a little longer before we got to.
Yeah, like let's not rush into things. And I'm talking to you, the calendar, the Roman calendar. Let's not rush. Let's just all take a breath, slow down, and reconsider about like whether time should keep moving at the same pace.
Well, our guy Bobby Carell is enjoying his time off as he's on vacation. He'll be out the rest of the week. He'll be back next week here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Shout out to Mr. Crazy who says, "Will the Rangers make a trade?" We'll find out together. Trade.
We have a couple comments that look like they're misplaced.
Well, we all love all of our sports here.
Hello, Rob.
That's right.
Hello, Lone Star Rob.
We love our Stars. We love our Rangers. We'll see if the Rangers make a deadline deal. There's a lot of deals being made. Toronto, who's already acquired Shane Bieber from the Cleveland Guardians, so deals already being made across Major League Baseball ahead of the MLB trade deadline. But we've got some questions that we got to discuss here on our show today, including what the biggest questions are going into this upcoming season for your Dallas Mavericks, as our guy Tim Cato published one of his two latest pieces today on alldlls.com. Become a diehard member, get some of that access as well, detailing the 19 biggest questions heading into the season for your Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, so what I did here, I'd say I published one piece and then a theme, and so was thinking about like what is left right between now, like in this dead period, and there's a couple things I'm working on, but I'm gonna start doing a series called right now I have 19 questions, the 19 biggest questions, a lot of stuff that we've already answered, and for example, one of them we're going to talk about it next segment is will Dereck Lively shoot threes next season? For this segment, what I want to go through is just what you think of this list that I've come up with. A list that I will be writing on, that we'll be talking about, and stuff we've already gone through, stuff that hopefully I can bring some new info or information to. Sarah says 19 is a very specific number of questions. I didn't plan a number. Like, I went through and determined that this was how many big questions that I had. Some of them are pretty easy. What's up with the team's injuries? And so the three questions I have for that is, will Anthony Davis be ready for opening night? And we've already talked a lot about this. We don't have exact answers, but talked to Jeff Stotts earlier this week. Hopefully by next week, I'll have a little bit more info, at least about what a detached retina looks like. So stay tuned for that. But that's an obvious question. When will Kyrie Irving come back from injury? Another obvious question, one that we're not going to answer next week or the week after.
It
or
might be
even
the biggest one of the season, right there.
I've got one that to me is the biggest one.
Yeah,
and we'll get to that in a second.
Sure.
But hopefully here in the next few weeks, I'll at least dive back into what is recovering from an ACL look like. This is something that I think I've written before, or written a little bit about, and certainly talked a little bit about. But if we're in the month of August, which we're about to be, we can go nitty gritty. We can go deep. We can be reminded what are the actual steps for an ACL, someone recovering from a torn ACL. Does Caleb Martin bounce back from injury? To me, this is a big question. We talked about it a couple shows ago, I want to say, where I just think that because he's still the best perimeter defender, if his offense was affected by his shoulder, and that's something that could change, I think it's a useful question. I have questions about how will the Mavericks offense be structured next season. And when I say structured, I don't think, and honestly, a lot of the comments were talking about this yesterday. It was like, what is this offense? How is it going to run? It's obviously not going to be as pick and roll focused as teams of the past, as the Luka teams that we've seen. How many threes are the Mavericks going to shoot? Another thing that we have we've talked about. We've talked about how once Kyrie Irving went out, they shot the fewest threes in the whole NBA. I think that's a pretty big question. So again, what these questions are, what are the, I came up with just a bunch that I think within all these questions, if you gave me the answer, I could tell you how the season's going to go. And I'm going to do my best to bring some data, bring some stats, bring some, reporting to try to figure out all of them in some order here, really now till training camp starts. Which recent offense will the Mavericks be most comparable to? Which Mavericks will defend star guards? Which Mavericks will most often be the roaming helper? That's kind of a question about Cooper Flagg and
point of attack defending as well.
Yeah. That's the defend star guards, and then the roaming helper is kind of a question of Cooper or AD, or at times or do you want Dereck Lively to try to do that? Which recent defense will the Mavericks be most comparable to? Will Dereck Lively shoot threes next season? Next segment, I've written about this. We will be talking about this. Next segment, I've got some stats on it. I've got some data. So you'll get a taste of what this actually kind of looks like. Will Cooper Flagg have preferred scoring spots? And how much will Anthony Davis play center?
That's another big one.
Yeah.
Especially given the roster construction that this team has right now, how much Anthony Davis will play center is a big question going into this upcoming season.
So far, with all the things that have tossed out there, injury questions, offense questions, defense questions, player questions, does that sound right? Anything coming out to you that I've missed?
No.
And I'm willing to hear from the chat too. This is the story is the 19 biggest question, Mavericks questions headed to the 2025-26 season. It's on alldlls.com right now. This is not paywalled. So this is going to be the homepage for a lot of these stories as they publish. Feel free to go in and say, Tim, you're missing this obvious one. Tim, you should write about this question that I have a curiosity about. I want to hear this one sooner or later.
Of the three highlighted ones, what's up with the team's injuries? What will the offense look like? What will the defense look like? I think that speaks to the heart of what this team is going to be dealing with as their biggest storylines this upcoming year. What does the spacing look like for this team offensively in terms of their ability to shoot threes and take threes? What does their injury situation look like with Kyrie Irving being one of the biggest, if not the biggest question coming back from injury? And also defensively, which is the identity of this team and what they want to look for. What does that begin to look like with point of attack defense, with Cooper Flagg as a help defender, with Anthony Davis playing at the 4 and the 5? What does all of that look like? Because they've built a lot of their identity based off what they saw in 2.5 quarters against the Houston Rockets and believing that that's the way to go. So of those few that we've discussed so far, I think it gets to the heart of what this team is going to be dealing with throughout the course of this upcoming season for sure.
There's some more questions in here. I'm just going to skip through those. It's all stuff we talked about. I'm putting them here to let you know that hopefully we can come back to them with some new insights, some stuff that I find or dig up, or some stats. Here's my biggest question. I've said it on the show before, but I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to tell you why I think is the biggest question going into the Mavericks season. What does Patrick Dumont expect from next season? Mr. Crazy asked, will they fire Nico? And I feel like a lot of what my framing of the question means, what does Patrick Dumont expect from next season, is kind of a will they fire Nico question. Is there going to be change in the front office, in the coaching staff, on the roster? If Patrick Dumont sees this team as a team that's good enough to be ready to be a contender when Kyrie gets back, that they're going to win enough games, they're going to survive in a very loaded Western Conference, and everything that Nico Harrison is saying publicly is what he's saying privately, that he believes in this roster, that he believes it's going to work, then if that's what he believes, then it does have to work. And there's a chance it could work. I don't even want to go back to whether I think it's going to work or not. What I'm saying is there's now stakes on this season. What I'm saying is that I see some scenarios where it doesn't work. And it might be unfortunate. It might just be that Anthony Davis isn't healthy a lot. That not only is Kyrie Irving not healthy, but Anthony Davis isn't healthy either. But Patrick Dumont is the guy who I think understood that he could have moved on from Nico. Understood that he could have, understood that the Luka trade was not what he realized it was in the moment. Understood that there is a fan base that is very frustrated, and there is a reason that so many people from the organization are doing interviews and PR, and that people like Nico Harrison are not doing interviews, because there is a very dedicated, determined PR push. Not push, it's just people doing their jobs. This is not me saying this is a bad thing. But those within the Mavericks very much understand the circumstance within the circumstance that the team and the fan base feels to each other. I think Patrick Dumont very much understands that at this point. And so does he think that next season, barring catastrophe, barring pure unluck, is going to go poorly? Or is going to go well? Mm-hmm. And what happens if it goes poorly? I think a lot of the biggest picture questions revolve around that. And if he does not, if he does view next season as a year where if Kyrie Irving doesn't come back healthy, doesn't come back soon, doesn't come back at his best, and it's okay to write it off. It's okay to go to next season. And then the team's going to be fully healthy.
Yeah.
That also determines a lot of how we should be looking at next season. And the Mavericks won't say that. Kind of wish they would. I don't think there's any fault in if that's how they feel. If they feel like they're gearing up for the season after next. You don't say that you're throwing the season. You don't say it's a gap year.
Sure.
We've used different terminology. But you can be a little bit more acknowledging that this team isn't going to be right until Kyrie Irving gets back.
Mm-hmm.
And, if that was the messaging, we're not going to be the team that we want to be until Kyrie gets back, and we're going to give him as much time as he needs to make sure he comes back as the player he needs to be, all while we try to win as many games as possible next season. I feel like that's not the messaging. I feel like the messaging is this is a title contending team right now. There's a difference between those two messages, right?
Yeah, you're trying to sell some hope given the situation that they find themselves in with the injuries that they're facing, on how important those injuries are to the success or lack thereof of this team, because I view this upcoming season in a lot of ways in terms of it being a gap year. We talk about how important Kyrie Irving is to this team. You're not necessarily going to go deep into the playoffs without a healthy Kyrie Irving. And even with him coming back later on in the season, dropping him into the middle of a potential playoff race and then the intensity of the postseason, even with how good he is still going to take some adjustment for him to be able to come back from the injury. So I've always said that the 26-27 year is the one that they are going full in on when it comes to how this team will look fully formed with everyone healthy, assuming that going into that year, because of how difficult the West is this year with the injuries you're dealing with. More importantly, you'll have a second year of Cooper Flagg to be able to depend upon going into the 26-27 year, because all I'm looking for from this year is not for them only to compete, but the development of Cooper Flagg and how that fits into this roster and what that means projecting them going into the 26-27 year, where I think that's the one where you say we're going all in for that year to try to win a championship during that window that they have in terms of this 3-year window here.
And that's all good, and that's all good, and
we can say that, and
we've said that,
but
that's not my question. My biggest question is, does Patrick Dumont feel that way?
Does Patrick Dumont
because
feel the
when
same
I
way?
think of the biggest question going into next season, I think about whether fundamentally the Mavericks vision, the Mavericks direction as an organization, I think about whether that's going to change. That's my perspective of if there is a question that is the single biggest question surrounding this franchise, it's whether ownership decides that this direction is not working. He's going to choose to take it in another direction. And we all know Cooper's sitting right there. You know, the Cooper era, the option to pivot to it is sitting right there. So that's my biggest question. And I don't know if we're going to have an answer. But I do think that if there is no bigger question than that going into next season, you told me what Patrick Dumont expects from next season. I think that would frame and change and inform us a lot about how to process what actually happens on the court next year. And I've got 18 questions above this. I think all of them, a lot of them, I can provide decent answers to. Can't promise an answer to that one. I can't promise it. But these are my 19 biggest questions, and over the next few weeks, you're going to be hearing 19 biggest questions pop up here and there on the show, and certainly you'll be seeing it at alldlls.com as you let off the show. Die Hard Sale going on right now.
That's right.
$36.
Yeah.
You know, that's less than $1 than a cup of coffee a month. So if you want to be a part of these questions, and hopefully to the extent that I can, these answers, check that out.
Let's take our first break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, let's hop into Cato's Corner. Will Dereck Lively take more threes this year? And this interesting number when it comes to the amount of jumpers that these two big men of the Mavericks took a year ago. All that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs podcast. But first, let me talk to you about Rugged Road. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the very best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions, whether you're on land or water. Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. It's hot outside right now. I know you want to keep your beverages cool while you're fishing, tubing, tailgating, camping, whatever the case may be. Rugged Road coolers are crafted to handle the toughest environments, and they're built to last, ensuring they keep up with any adventure. Coolers are guaranteed to keep up their contents cool for up to 7 days, and oftentimes much longer than that. So make sure you gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. They're reliable, they're durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Make sure you head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off. Again, that's ruggedroadoutdoors.com. Use code DLLS for 10% off your Rugged Road cooler today.
Just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage. Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts. They're dedicated flooring professionals, and they focus on flooring every single day. They're not like the big box stores. You can wander endless aisles, and you're hauling all the materials home yourself. You're looking for an installer, you're coordinating everything yourself. Yeah, like, sure, you can go that route. You can use a big box store. But why wouldn't you prefer to use Empire Today? They live and breathe flooring. They're going to be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame with them. Their flooring experts can bring the showroom right to your house. You can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. You can see how it looks with your furniture in your home. You can get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered right there at home, so there's no surprises. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. DLLS listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DLLS. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount with code DLLS. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DLLS for full details.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports while you're here, and do the same for our podcast. Wherever you get your podcast free, just search DLLS Mavs. Give it a 5-star rating and write a review for it while you're there. Dereck Lively II shoot more threes this upcoming season. Let's hop into Cato's Corner here on our show today. Coming up in our next segment, our National NBA insider Marc Stein going to be joining us here to discuss what we've learned so far this month as we turn the calendar from July to August, beginning tomorrow. But another brand new piece that our guy Cato has up right now on alldlls.com. Dereck Lively II, and will he shoot more threes? And a couple of interesting numbers when it comes to the shots that the Mavericks big men took. That's got Mavs Twitter discussing it a little bit.
Yeah, so noted Mavericks superfan Mark Cuban.
Happy birthday, by the way, to Mark Cuban today.
Birthday?
It's his birthday today. It is.
He 49 again? Yeah.
No, not quite.
Yeah, he's not a Ben Johnson type. Oh man, what is that guy's name? Not important. No. Yeah.
He turned 67 today, just in case you were wondering.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. So at Cooper's introductory press conference, I was hustling to the media room to try to log in and talk to you guys. And failing to do that because the internet was very bad. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah. But apparently, right after the presser, Mark Cuban talked to a few journalists. So I was not a part of it. But Noah Weber of the Smoking Cuban was the person that I saw note that he suggested, offered up as an idea that Dereck Lively could shoot like 2 or 3 threes next season. And I'm just here to tell you that is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's no
just
precedent.
end the segment then. Just end the segment then, damn it. Just end the segment.
There's no precedent for it happening. But let me tell you how little precedent there is for it happening. And let me tell you the first step to Dereck Lively maybe being a three-point shooter in the future.
Let's hear it.
I don't think it's hopeless. I'm just saying it's not going to happen next season. So last season, Dereck Lively took 1 jumper. And in this piece on DLLS, I have a video of the jumper. I don't need to play it for you guys, even if we could. It's a floater. It's a moment where he has the ball, the elbow extended, realizes nobody's guarding him, takes a dribble into the paint, shoots it with one hand with the floater. But it got classified as a jumper. We're going to be generous here. We're going to go with the classifications. Decided to look at every player in the NBA who played at least 800 minutes. How many jumpers did they take last season? Dereck Lively led or
took the fewest.
He took the fewest. He took 1 jumper. The player who comes next is Steven Adams with 2, Daniel Gafford with 2. Then it's a bunch of Adim Bona with 2. Then it's a bunch of players a lot like, most of the players on this list, with Ben Simmons excluded, are Dereck Lively-like players. Jalen Duren, Clint Capella, Trace Jackson Davis, Mason Plumlee, Jackson Hayes, Yves Missi, Luke Cornett, Mark Williams, Rudy Gobert. These guys are not in the NBA to shoot jumpers. Everybody knows this. But you start looking around at players that took only 1 jump shot in a season. And you just start looking around at that list. And I've got a list here of players who took 1 to 5 jumpers in a season.
Yeah.
And you're not going to find a lot of players. You're looking at this list, right?
I see.
You see a lot of players. Caleb Swanigan started shooting some threes at some point, very briefly in his very brief career. Tony Bradley, I think, may shoot threes now.
Is that a Greg Monroe sighting on that list?
Yeah. This is just like the past 6 seasons.
It's in the Kumpo sighting on there.
Yes, it is. Kyler Kelly is on this list.
Shout out to the legend Kyler Kelly.
So Chris Dunn, and Chris Dunn, obviously a guard. There was a season where he shot 5 threes, and now he's not a good 3-point shooter, but he at least takes them. My point here is that every story of a player who developed a 3-pointer later in their career, nearly every single story was a player who took jumpers. Not threes, but jumpers. Brook Lopez, when he was in the 2013-14 season, Brook Lopez, famously now, turned into a sharpshooter, a marksman later in his career. He took 10 threes in the 2013-14 season. He took 334 jumpers. Thomas Bryant, the Indiana Pacers backup center. You think, okay, well, Thomas Bryant, he's not really a shooter, but he'll occasionally knock down a corner 3, right? Mm-hmm. Is that a fair impression of Thomas Bryant?
Every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then. Thomas Bryant took 99 threes his age 21 season. So,
oh, wow. Was not expecting anywhere near that.
Yeah. He's career 1.5 attempts per game.
Okay.
Career 35%. And his second year in the league, he was already taking 99 threes. That's not a prolific number.
No.
Thomas Bryant is not somebody you guard, you hug on the 3-point line. All I'm pointing out is that Thomas Bryant, from the moment he came into the league, he was taking threes and he was making them. Not at a high clip, and his percentages got a little bit marginally better. But it did take him shooting. It took a quantity. It took a number of jumpers being taken. So when you think about Dereck Lively, no, he is not going to be the first player to go from 0 threes, 1 jumper to Mark Cuban. And Mark Cuban, is he, remind me, is he known for fanciful ideas a time or again?
Every now and then, yes.
And is he involved in basketball operations?
No.
Okay, so we've had that established.
He thought he would be.
It's still Mark Cuban. I'm just having a little fun with my buddy, with my friend Mark. He was a nice way to kick off this conversation because he's like somebody of prominence who suggested this idea because Mavericks fans always suggest this idea because anytime a clip goes around of Dereck Lively shooting threes, making threes, in the corners, before games, shoot around, practice, Mavs fans are like, oh my God.
Or when he makes one in the NBA Finals and sends the crowd going
it's 1-3.
Bonkers.
3 attempts, 1-3. Now, here's the thing, though. Yes, the crowd went bonk. That was great.
It was amazing. I was like,
At Duke, Lively shot 2 of 13. He shot 60% from the arc. Since leaving college, he is a 18.6% three-point shooter and a 57.1% foul shooter. Do those numbers indicate to you, let him loose?
Let Lively cook from 3?
Let him cook?
No, not necessarily. But I do wonder because you think about someone had mentioned, Jaren Jackson and his shooting form isn't necessarily great. And the opportunity to create some type of spacing for these big men.
Well, it wouldn't be spacing.
I'm saying more opportunities for them to be able to expand their offensive game a little bit. It's not like Lively isn't necessarily capable of it. We just have clearly not seen it in the volume that would allow us an opportunity to think that he could be a credible three-point shooter at any point in his career because he just simply hasn't taken the amount he was given the idea that he could do that.
So this is the point of the piece. Lively's not going to take 2 threes per game. Like even using the base level, 2 threes per game. Let's just assume he plays the whole season. That's 160, 164. He's not taking that many. But the path, the way that you start to become a shooter, if you have any chance of becoming a shooter in the NBA, you have to shoot. You don't have to shoot well. You don't have to shoot at a high percentage, but you have to take shots. If you there's no player in the NBA who has taken no jumpers and the next season become a reliable, dependable, dangerous corner threat. Practice shots are not game shots. There is a rep, there is a repetition, there is a mechanical understanding of, okay, I do this in practice and I make a lot of them in practice. I reached out to Dave Dufour, not friend of the show.
Not yet.
We got to get Dave Dufour on, maybe next week. But old friend of my shows, 77 Minutes, the Only Mavericks podcast. Longtime co-host of those things. He's a guy at the Athletic. Dave Dufour also was an assistant coach for the Georgia national team. He knows his stuff. And his assessment, his quick and dirty assessment, I asked him to watch 4 shots of Dereck Lively. He says the mechanics are good. He likes the mechanics. He thinks he should shoot next year. My point is that to become a shooter, you have to shoot. And there are very similar players to Dereck Lively right now in the NBA who are at least getting that opportunity. Donovan Clingan.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie last year, he shot 14 of 49 last season. I don't know if you can want to do the quick math on that. It's not a good percentage. I think it's 27%, something like that.
It's not great.
Yeah, 14 of 49. It's a bad percentage. But he did take almost 50 shots last season. Another very similar player, Walker Kessler.
Yeah, that's 28.5%.
Yep. Told you.
Yeah, it's good math.
Yeah.
Good math.
I think I knew what the percentage was.
So you were cheating already. Okay,
I didn't have it in front of me, but Walker Kessler shot 13%. He shot 6 of 34. If you let Dereck Lively, you don't give him a green light, you don't even give him a yellow light. You just say, every once in a while, it does make sense for you to take a 3.
Like he was opening the NBA Finals in the corner. Made
Definitely
sense.
a drawn-up play.
Yeah.
100% a drawn-up play.
Mm-hmm.
But Lively next season, if you give him that orange light, he might go 14 of 49. He might go 6 of 34. I do think starting that journey, and it's a little bit different. He's from a different era. He's been shooting threes his entire life. He's been influenced by Steph Curry. Every single player has. Just because no player has gone from no threes to becoming a three-point shooter does not mean that this new era is not going to become that. And again, I think his mechanics are not that bad. But I do think that it does make a little bit sense for him to take maybe 53s next year, maybe 33s next year, just to get his feet wet, just to start to understand the rhythms and the processes and the mechanics of what it feels like. Because the mechanics that you shoot in practice with, the mechanics that you shoot, when you have the ball coming to the same spot and you're in the same place and you don't have to adjust, your feet are set, everything is the same. You just got to repeat the same motion 5 times in a row. That's always going to be different. Everybody knows this, but that's always going to be different than getting a moment randomly in the middle of a game, you can't prepare for, you can't prep for. You just have to be ready right then. That's what makes shooters stand apart. So he's not going to be a shooter next year, but I'd like him to shoot.
Shoot.
Well, he's not a shooter yet.
I'm saying to turn himself into a shooter, you got to shoot.
Shooter's got to start shooting.
Shooter's got to start shooting in Lively's case for sure. It was quite objectively hilarious to see that 2 Mavericks made the list of guys that took the fewest jump shots in the league among guys that played 800 minutes.
I remember one of the Gafford ones. It was when the whole team was injured and he took a face-up jumper from the left block. I can't tell you who it was against, but and I didn't pull the video, but I could go pull it and tell you the exact details of when it was. But it was I'm telling you right now, it was a face-up jumper from the left block where he got it on a backup and then he turns faces and just pulls a jumper. Missed it, but kind of fun.
So taking more jump shots, big.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Mavericks basketball.
Let's take our next break here on the show. When we come back here on the DLLS Mavs Podcast, we welcome in our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, and discuss what we learned from the Mavericks during the month of July. All that and more coming up next year on the show. But it's game time here on our program today. If you love going to concerts, basketball games, football games, or any type of sporting event, Game Time is the place to get your tickets. Game Time picks filters out the fluff, show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I use Game Time every time to get my Wings tickets to go see Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings play, of course, at College Park. They got all-in pricing, so I know exactly what I'm going to pay before I get to checkout, so there's no hidden fees. Also, they got panoramic seat views as well, so I can scan exactly where I want to sit, take my wife and my daughter to be able to have a good time watching Paige and Enrique get after it for the Dallas Wings. With Game Time, also, they have the lowest price guarantee, or they will credit you 110% of the difference. So make sure you take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Remember, returns apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Cato, what time is it?
Game time?
Game time.
It's also Saturday Neon Time, which was started by 2 college friends. Saturday Neon is a company that makes officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs. They're perfect for your home, your office, your dorm room, your fan cave, your bar, your podcast studio. We're going to have to talk about them so you can get like a DLLS Saturday Neon sign.
We got to get one of those.
Man, that would be so cool. That'd be so sick. Which studio deserves it more?
In the studio that we're in. So yes.
Okay, I like that. It doesn't have a home studio.
That's
it
right.
Just rotates between the two.
That's right.
But in the meantime, check out their signs for Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. Unlike traditional neon, these LED signs, they're not going to break, they're not going to shatter, but they're still going to give you that classic uniform glow that you know and love, and they're going to last up to 100 hours. You're going to be enjoying the sign for years to come. Head over to SaturdayNeon.com and use code DLLS for 10% off your newest favorite sign.
Let's welcome in our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. You can always dial up the Stein Line at the Stein Line as we discuss what we've learned from the Mavericks this month as we get ready to turn the calendar from July to August. Marc Stein, how are you?
Looks like we got a Hotel Stein.
Don't dox his location now.
I didn't even know he was going out of town.
Mark, what's going on?
I may or may not be in a hotel room.
Yeah, the blinds kind of give it away.
That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting.
I've been in some hotels myself, Mark, and I can spot a hotel.
He can spot a hotel curtain a mile away.
Yep. You are a sleuth.
Well, you might just say a journalist,
right? Or that too.
It's
right.
A little on the nose here.
It's kind of part of the description, I guess. Well, let's get into it because, Mark, we're getting ready to turn the calendar. Hard to believe, from July to August, beginning tomorrow, the Mavericks had themselves a busy month, including, of course, we having an opportunity to go to Las Vegas to see Cooper Flagg make his Mavericks debut with 2 Summer League games, and them, as you have reported, shutting him down after those 2 games. In general, let's just start here. What did we learn from the Mavericks this month with the signing of D'Angelo Russell, bringing back Dante Exum, but as we mentioned, of course, Cooper Flagg making his debut?
Yeah, I think it was what we expected. I don't know. I would assume you guys feel the same as me. You know, 2 games seems to be the standard for the very top picks in the draft at this point. So I didn't think we were going to see him more than twice. The Mavs had very little wiggle room to make moves of any kind. They addressed their number one need by signing D'Angelo Russell and bringing in someone who they can hand the ball to on opening night because they know Kyrie Irving's not going to be there. And it has been a busy July in the NBA. I mean, stuff is still kind of percolating, and I think the bulk of free agency, it's all done by July 4th. But this July, we still have a lot of unresolved restricted free agents out there. You still have players like Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons, Malcolm Brogdon. These are guys with some significant NBA resumes that have yet to find homes. The buyout market kind of, Marcus Smart was like a July 19th, July 20th kind of thing. So things did continue to happen all month, even though the bulk of free agency is kind of done and has run its course by July 4th. But the reality is the Mavs just weren't a part of much of that because, the Mavs, we knew they need guards and ball handling. They signed D'Angelo Russell. They have a verbal commitment with Dante Exum. They're still going to have to figure out how exactly they create the roster spot they need for Dante Exum. But as I've been told all month, like the Mavericks don't feel an urgent rush there. They know they have the commitment from Dante Exum. It might take until September or October for them to decide exactly how they want to tackle creating that roster spot. You can have up to 21 guys at this point on the calendar. So it's not something that they have to do today. But the big questions, the reality is the big questions, I think the stuff that we really want to know, what this team is going to look like in October, November, December without Kyrie Irving, we're really not going to start to get those answers until camp starts and the preseason starts.
And with that, obviously, this team will be looking to make its way through what will be a treacherous Western Conference. I want to touch real quick again on the Summer League portion of it, because with Cooper Flagg making his debut, what did you learn specifically about him as a player that when you start thinking about what will happen over the next couple of months to get ready to training camp and everything else, that gives you the indication that not only is he ready to play, but will be able to contribute the way that the Mavericks are going to be looking for him to do so once the season starts?
Summer League is such a different brand of basketball that I don't know that there's tons we can learn. We always say it going into Summer League, try not to overreact to what you see, good or bad, and nobody ever listens, and we all overreact anyway. It's, it's certainly a higher level than college, but it's not like the floor is filled with, proven NBA talent. Everybody on the other team gets 10 fouls, so it's super physical. So, look, they challenged him. They announced to the world they were going to give him the ball. They gave him the ball. They put him in a lot of positions where he had to face huge defensive swarms and coverage and physicality. But, I was there. Actually, I was not there. I take that back. I'm confusing the two stories. But I remember well Tim Duncan getting outplayed by Duncanville's own Greg Ostertag. And that story is just like NBA lore in Summer League. And what did it mean? First of all, it's probably an exaggeration to say that Ostertag outplayed him, but that's kind of the way the legend has unfolded over the last nearly 30 years. And again, it didn't mean it. Victor Wembanyama, remember his first Summer League game? Very worrisome. It was panic stations, as they would say in England. Like that, how rough that first game, that Summer League debut was for Wemby, and it really didn't mean a whole lot. So I don't know that there's so much to be gleaned, but I can't wait to see how much the ball can actually be in Cooper Flagg's hands when this thing turns real, and how much can he be an initiator as a rookie? And just how big his role can be. I mean, that's going to be, I think that's what we're all going to be watching in early October. I mean, that, you know, when Jason Kidd is coaching the team and making every decision, and how much the ball is in Cooper's hands, how ready he is for that. And you know, I don't think we know.
Yeah. When I think about Summer League, for all the reasons that you said, what happens on the court, it's not that it doesn't matter, but in the grand scheme of things, well, it doesn't matter. So what was interesting to me was how the Mavericks went about using him. And Jason Kidd said, you know, when they introduced Cooper Flagg, wants to make him uncomfortable. And Cooper Flagg was always going to lead the team in shots. He was the best player. There was no questions he was the best player. He was the best player at Duke. He led Duke in shots. But the way they chose to make him uncomfortable, he talked a lot about point guard. He's going to bring the ball up the court. And that certainly did affect him a little bit. He talked about it. He talked about being tired. He talked about not having to do that. And quite frankly, like, I watched both those games. He brought the ball up the court a lot. He brought the ball up the court a lot at Duke as well. It was probably a bit more at Summer League. And I do think he had more full court pressure that he was dealing with. But even that wasn't a totally unique thing. What stood out to me, as I said at the time, what I'm going to say now, is that he took the most shots on the team, both games, 21. You know, it's something that he only surpassed one time last season at Duke. And all of that's interesting. All of that is stuff that I've said before. What's interesting, most interesting about it is, like, that's the way they chose to make him uncomfortable. And I do wonder how much that indicates that he is going to have, like, how much he is going to have the ball next season, being asked to create, being asked to be a primary initiator, a creator, a play starter. There are a lot of play finishers on this team. There are some play starters. Him, you know, he's really going to be someone who is challenged to be that. You know, me and Bobby, like, I remember Bobby, he's talked about how, like, he prefers D'Angelo Russell as a play finisher, as a spot-up guy who uses that to attack. You know, Anthony Davis has always been referred to as a play finisher. Being a play finisher does not mean that you can't take the ball and start off and do stuff with it. But that, because that was the way that Dallas challenged him, I am just very curious, interested, and certainly looking at the roster, feel it's likely that they view this guy as a play starter, and they're going to use him that way a lot next season, especially to start the year, especially while Kyrie Irving is out and missing about half the season.
But it's good. Let's remember that number, 21, because it will be interesting to see how soon in his NBA career does he have a game in which he takes 21 shots.
I agree.
I wouldn't expect that on opening night, because D'Angelo Russell's going to be out there. PJ Washington's going to be out there. You know, we don't know about Anthony Davis. We don't know yet what his availability will be like early in the season, but he's not going to be the runaway top choice to be the play finisher when his NBA career starts.
I would be stunned if he takes 21 shots as his rookie game, and I would be fascinated. I would be both stunned and fascinated. Just for fun, Luka Doncic did not take 21 shots in a game until December 23rd of his rookie season.
Wow.
His first game, he took 16. I could see a 14, 15, 16.
I think that's what about the average will be for Cooper this year, between 12 to 15 shots a game, given the amount of guys that are going to have the ball in their hands.
It could be as low as 10. It really could be. Now, I don't think it will be because of the circumstances, but I guess the one last thing I'll say about Summer League is if Kyrie Irving was healthy and Cooper Flagg was just slotting into a role to kind of be the PJ of this team, like the younger, newer, better in some ways PJ of the team, but Kyrie Irving's healthy, you're winning now, you yourself as a contender, you've got all the pieces in place. I wonder if they would have challenged him with shot creation as much as they did in Vegas. Because on that team, if the team was healthy, if Kyrie was available, his role would be a smaller role. And it's still a big role, still notable, still starting. But he would be somebody who fit in and played off of these two stars around him. I just think the circumstances, in all likelihood, has changed the dynamics and changed the outlook on what Dallas is looking looking for of him. For him. One of those. I'm not good at prepositions.
Let's take our final break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, more with our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, as we look forward to the rest of what is happening in restricted free agency as we get ready to turn the calendar from July to August. All that more coming up next. But it's die-hard time here on our show today. We want you to become a member of the DLLS Sports family, and the quickest way you can do that is to become a die-hard member with our $36 training camp special right now, happening at alldlls.com. To become a die-hard member, you get access to our member-only Discord, 20% off our events. We've got incredible merchandise, including the Dallas collection that we have out right now and available for you with our brand new 6 t-shirts, part of the Dallas collection here at All DLLS. Of course, you can get your hands on that. You've got the beautiful Mavericks one. You've got the Dallas versus all y'all shirt, the Bit Nolan Ryan and Robert Ventura shirt. You got a lot of terrific choices when it comes to our Dallas collection. Go to store.allcitynetwork.com to check out everything that we have as far as our Dallas collection is concerned. Also, when you become a diehard member, you get access to not only, as I mentioned, our member-only Discord, our terrific work from our guy, Tim Cato, but also from Sean Shapiro and Sam Nessler covering the Stars, Jeff Wilson covering the Texas Rangers, and Clarence E. Hill Jr., who's out in Oxnard, California right now, covering your Dallas Cowboys. You get access to all that tremendous content available there. And we got our DLLS road trip coming up November 15th through the 18th in Sin City. Thanks to True Fan Travel, you get the chance to hang out with our DLLS Cowboys crew in Las Vegas that culminates in a Monday Night Football tilt between your Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders. So, again, go to alldlls.com for more details. Again, our DLLS road trip for Las Vegas with our DLLS Cowboys crew November 15th through the 18th. So, a lot of tremendous benefits when you become a diehard member here. Again, our best offer of the year is just $36 a year right now, our training camp offer special to commemorate. And we're trying to get there in terms of pushing you to become a member here at alldlls.com. Again, the quickest way you can also support us is to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're less than 2,000 subscriptions away from reaching that 30,000 K mark. I almost said 30,000 K mark. So make sure you subscribe while you're here as well. Let's finish up on our program today. We bring back in our National NBA Insider, Marc Stein. We can always dial up the Stein Line at the Stein Line. And, Marc, let's start here because it's been an interesting month, not just for NBA free agency, but also the restricted free agency market with guys like Josh Giddey, Cam Thomas with the Brooklyn Nets, and also Quentin Grimes of the Philadelphia 76ers, formerly, of course, of the Dallas Mavericks. What is happening?
Can I interrupt super briefly?
Oh, yeah.
I've got a fun stat. Would you guys like to guess the last rookie to take 20 shots in his debut? It hasn't happened since 2008. This player was a Maverick for one season.
No, that's not
but
right.
In 2008, there was a rookie in 2008. He took 20 shots. In the decade and a half since this, no rookie in their first game has ever taken even 20 shots.
And he did it as a Maverick?
He didn't do it as a Maverick. He was later a Maverick.
Okay.
That is a good one. I can't. 2008.
2008 rookie for Memphis. Took 20 shots, went 5 of 20, played 40 minutes, scored 10 points. It was OJ Mayo. And then the season before that, Kevin Durant took 22 shots, and then only 3 other players took even 20 shots their first game. The league leader is John Drew.
John Drew
took 34 shots in his rookie debut, and then Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem both took 27 shots in their rookie debuts. All right,
Tim Cato, I have a request. I would like you to send me that list, please.
I can do that.
I would like to use that in the Stein Line.
All right, it will be sent to you.
There you go.
Good find. Good thinking. Taking the Thursday trivia mantle away from the Illustrator while he's away from us.
Sometimes you got to do it.
He won't mind. But yeah, let's just.
Do you think Bobby is Bobby watching the show and in chat like Kevin Gray is when he's on vacation?
I made a prediction yesterday that we're not going to see him in chat until
he's actually in the chat right now and answered OJ Mayo.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He
Is
literally
he really?
is.
Wow.
You spoke him up.
Bobby, go away.
You literally spoke him up.
We are the saddest squad
Go
ever.
away.
Kevin Gray's in Cancun, like
Taking
commenting,
push-shots and-
discording, like I'm zooming in from wherever I am. No, I'm e-camming in from wherever I am. The Corellustrator's first day off in the history of this show, and he's in chat.
He says,
is Tim Cato gonna? What about Tim Cato? When Tim Cato goes on vacation, is he gonna be checking in?
Tim is gonna go offline for real. He's not gonna be online at all. He's gonna go offline for real. Bobby says his flight got delayed, so he's hanging out with us and hanging out with you because his flight got delayed. Hopefully, they get canceled.
Question for the chat. I hope RV can throw this in as a poll question. Do we believe that excuse from the Corellustrator? Is he really just delayed at the airport, or is he watching the show because he can't live without it?
I think he's on to something because, so real quick, I'm a big wrestling fan, and
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's right. SummerSlam is happening in New Jersey this weekend, and flights are getting delayed and canceled going to the New York and New Jersey area as we speak. So there's a lot of folks who are not happy right now because flights are getting canceled and delayed going out to the East Coast for this weekend's festivities for SummerSlam. So I'm not surprised that his flight is delayed. Hopefully it won't get canceled. Yikes. A lot of folks have that happen to him right now. I believe him.
I believe him too.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Bobby.
I believe you, Bobby.
Charlie Saturday says, Marc Stein, there is no shame in popping in here. Take it from me.
Definitely no shame. We're all addicted, man.
Anyway,
I
derailed the
we all love it. That's all right.
We can walk back in now.
No,
we all love it here. How many people are we got a good chat going today? Or what's the vibe? What's the when I do the remotes, I can't do both. I can't see the chat.
The vibe's been good. We're getting ready for August. Sarah tells Bobby to go drink a margarita. I'm sure he'll do that at some point. He also says he's flying to Philly, so it's delayed due to the storm. So yes, as I mentioned, there's a lot of that happening for folks going to the East Coast because the storm's happening right now. So, but yeah, we were mentioning the East Coast. Quentin Grimes, restricted free agency. What the hell's going on? What's going on with free agency?
Look, restricted free agency is always awful for restricted free agents, but this summer,
particular this year, for this year, it feels particular this year.
You know what? I don't know that that's true. I do think part of it is just because we're so hyper focused on it now, and the Kuminga situation really is probably the number one outstanding free agent headline. So, like, that's just being hyper covered now by nosy scribes like me who, again, it's late July, so that we're all digging into this because it's interesting with the Kuminga situation, with all of these situations. Nobody has cap room except the Nets. Cam Thomas is on this list of restricted free agents. He played for the Nets. He can't get anything from the net. Like the Nets, Jake Fisher reported last weekend that the Nets have not exceeded offers to Cam Thomas. 2-year deals, team option in year 2, basic average annual value is the mid-level, the $14 million mid-level. So Cam, all of these guys, Giddey, Kuminga, Thomas, they're all hoping for deals in the $30 million a year range, but they can't go out and get an offer sheet to go get that. Nobody has cap space except the Nets. The Nets don't want to throw an offer sheet down for any of these guys. So they're all faced with this uncomfortable possibility of, do you take the qualifying offer and try to play your way to restricted free agency? Grimes was the one out of this quartet that I think around the league, people thought he would be the first one to get a deal done because the Sixers basically had to let Gershon Yabusele go. They didn't offer him anything more than the minimum. And Yabusele was like besides Quentin Grimes and his monstrous March, Yabusele was really the one bright spot in Philly's season of woe and injury, constant injury issues. Yabusele had the great Olympics for France, the dunk over LeBron, signed by the Sixers to the minimum. A lot of teams wanted him at the trade deadline, and Philly was like, no, we're going to keep this guy. We don't want to lose him. We've created the financial wiggle room to re-sign him. But then in the end, they still didn't, even with all the various moves they made. they knew that to re-sign Quentin Grimes, they were going to have to let Yabusele go. When Yabusele went to the Knicks, and it was the Knicks and the Nuggets who were trying to get him at the end, and Yabusele chose New York, the thought then was that, okay, Quentin Grimes, he's going to do a deal with the Sixers here. 3-year deal in the 40s somewhere, 40 million somewhere, and it hasn't happened. So with all these guys, it's tough because there's nowhere for them to turn to get an offer sheet. And so qualifying offers are valid till October 1, and basically all of these qualifying offers, Giddey's is 11 million. The other 3 players, the qualifying offer is less than 10 million. So if you're Kuminga, you could take the qualifying offer, play out next season, and then you become an unrestricted free agent next summer, but you lose your bird rights in the process. I mean, you very rarely see a player do that. We don't see it very often. It's easy for us on the outside to say, just take the qualifying offer and bet on yourself. But I mean, in Golden State's case, the other reason why this is being covered so closely and why we just keep talking about it in terms of reporters, Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton, the whole league is expecting those guys to sign with Golden State, but Golden State can't sign them until the Kuminga situation is resolved. So Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton are just waiting, not unlike Dante Exum, to actually get their deals with the Warriors. So it is the aprons, man. The aprons make everything complicated.
Shout out to the aprons. Mark, shout out to you. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on the show today, making time for us amid your travels, and we hope that you have a safe and good time at your undisclosed location.
I'll check in tomorrow. Don't worry.
Okay, look at you checking in.
If you got news, absolutely, we'll have you.
I mean, if you don't want me,
no, we want you. No, we want you. We like hanging out with you. It's
no special guests lined up tomorrow.
Not as of yet.
No.
Stay tuned.
Oh, you're working on it. You got something. Got something working.
Probably not tomorrow, but next week we definitely got some people
tomorrow's show. Cato, great job.
I said nothing yet.
No, nothing yet. That's true.
Which might
how's RV doing? I heard RV is in Tanner's seat today because Tanner, I guess, got sick of us and just staged a walkout or something.
Something like that, yeah.
It's baseball.
How are you doing, RV?
You good?
I'm doing pretty good, Mark.
He's good. He's good.
That's
Just
RV,
checking.
by the way, guys, for the chat. Anybody? He's
That's our guy,
filling
Ryan.
in for Tanner.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
All right, get out of here, Mark. We talk to you tomorrow. All right.
Bye, guys. Be good.
See ya.
You can always dial up the Stein Line at the Stein Line for our National NBA Insider, Marc Stein. Yeah, Tanner's cheating on us today.
What I'll say is I'm still most confident that Quentin Grimes is the guy. Like I'm pretty confident Quentin Grimes, Cam Thomas, and probably Josh Giddey all re-sign with their teams. I'm most confident about Quentin Grimes. I'm second most confident about Cam Thomas. Reason being is that Quentin Grimes is the best player of these 4. Cam Thomas is the second best player of these 4, and the other 2 aren't really that good. So I don't know what's going to happen with them.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, restricted free agents this year has been really interesting. As Stein mentioned, the Jonathan Kuminga situation is the one that's kind of waiting on that domino to fall because the Warriors are the only team that haven't signed anyone this free agency period. But what that be? I know. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did the chat see that? You just let out the biggest yawn ever. We boring to you? Is that what's going on?
Out of Celsius today too.
Yeah, so you should be like good
I haven't had
to
a
go.
Celsius in like 6 months. So I
Clearly,
don't know.
it wasn't effective for you. Don't give that free advertising.
I am. I had a
energy
name
drink
to be drink to be named later.
Clearly, the energy drink's not working for you because
I know.
You
Should I have another one?
No.
Yeah.
One's enough. You gonna be all right? It's time. It's time for us to go. So
I'm gonna make it.
No, you need a nap. Is what you need. Clearly.
Maybe.
No
Celsius
free
recall.
Yeah, go look that up.
I mean, a drink recall of a
the energy
certain
drink recall. Exactly. Go look.
I don't
that
even
up.
drink them. That's the thing. Like, I'm
you
not
clearly
even,
just said you drank one.
Well, yeah, for the first time like this year.
Shout out to our guy RV for hanging out with us today. I'm sure he won't want to put up with us ever again after today's show, but thank you so much for hanging out with us here on today's show. Appreciate our guy Marc Stein for also joining us here as well. We'll be back tomorrow, boys and girls, here on the DLLS Mavs podcast after Tim takes a nap. That's our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs.
If you're going to see me tomorrow after I take that's just called sleeping.
Bye. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Y'all be good.
We all silly like the mayor.